Hello everyone, we have repeatedly talked about the selections and misadventures of Ezra Miller, aka the Flash from the DC film universe, and the most recent is the message that Ezra could face a real term of 26 years. It is clear that many were interested in the question of what Warner Brothers and DC would do after all this, but they would not leave in among their main actors of such a crazy type, and nevertheless, according to the latest updates, they not only left, but even already held trial screenings of The Flash and now compare this movie with There Is No Way Home, claiming to be one of the best superhero films in the world. In a nutshell, that Ezra Miller, who began to freak out a couple of years ago, for example, in Iceland, not that he did not reduce the momentum, but on the contrary, only slipped into more and more madness, and as a result, he got to the point that he was actually charged with penetration and theft, for which, according to local laws of the state where Ezra Miller and him are being tried, threatens up to 26 years. It is clear that no one will put Miller away for 5 decades, but at the same time it seemed absolutely impossible, especially in our sensitive time, that such a person remained in the film industry, and yet, what had not been fully resolved before, has now become clear. Warner Brothers will leave Ezra Miller as the main actor of the Flash movie and has even begun trial shows of new items, and according to the deadline, Ezra Miller's film is compared to Tom Holland's blockbuster There Is No Way Home, which received critical acclaim and became one of the few huge commercial successes during the global quarantine. The article does not reveal the identity of the person who acted as an insider this time, but at the same time, it is already noted that the release date of The Flash has been changed again, this time postponed a week ahead to June 16. This puts this film in a popular weekend dedicated to Father's Day, which in itself indicates an increase in the bets that are now being made by Warner Brothers on Ezra Miller's solo album, where he will compete with others' films. So now we can say that Warner Brothers have finally decided, and they decided not to apply any sanctions against Ezra Miller or somehow change the actors or push the film to the margins by releasing it only on HD Max as mentioned earlier. There are no huge investments of more than $200 million in production alone, and the obvious financial crisis of Warner Brothers Discovery. We decided to just pretend that everything is fine with Ezra Miller, and in general nothing like that happened with this guy. It's understandable problems with problems, but DC and Warner Brothers are now having serious problems. An assortment of films about superheroes. Warner Brothers Discovery is currently also in recovery mode. If The Flash is as good as reported, it could make a big difference to DC Studios' promotion in the future. After all, if everything was fine in DC and WB, then The Flash is unlikely that we would ever see big screens, or maybe Miller would just be reshot, like the scenes with the Army Hammer after the scandal, not to mention Grindelwald and Johnny Depp. But now Warner Brothers just doesn't give it to them. At least somehow that would stay afloat, and not grow even more debts than the company already has, so Ezra Miller can temporarily rejoice he got away with everything again. That's really what you say to this dude is clearly lucky. Although everyone understands now that just like James Cameron's Avatar: The Way of Water should become one of the highest grossing films of all time, just in order to recoup the costs, perhaps the Floridas should be incredibly good to save Ezra Miller's reputation, at least in the eyes of critics, and part of the audience is certainly not legal, and even more so no less so far. Miller is lucky again that he needs to wait until next summer to find out if the actor can stay in DC no matter what, or if the Floridas will be his last high-profile blockbuster, before imminent oblivion. Subscribe to our channel and click on the bell. Also write your comments right now and put your thumbs up. Thank you all for watching.